What is going on, everyone? Today, I wanted to give you stock news updates on ticker MULN, Mullen Automotive. This is an electric vehicle company that is based out in Southern California. Just with the recent weeks, we've been just seeing Mullen going down and down with its share price. What is driving all of this, right? Do we like having the CEO being the leader of this company? What if the CEO gets replaced by another CEO, right? What are your thoughts about that? Would that benefit us shareholders? Now, what's with the deal with the CEO selling shares of Mullen, right? Does that really just raise more questions in terms of where he's believing in the overall fair market value of the share price, right? And with news around delisting potential in the Nasdaq market, where Mullen has up until March 6th whether to file an extension, the 180 days extension, or to consider reverse splitting. What can that do? There's mixed angles here, right? Whether that would create a short squeeze or would that actually benefit Mullen. However, I'll go through the good and the bad information to you, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, and as well as me giving you my price forecasts for Mullen. Let's get started. Now here we're looking at Mullen Automotive from a technical standpoint here. Just looking at it from a 1 month range, we've seen it drop from 42 cents all the way down to 23 cents, about nearly 30% in drop since the 1 month range. Now, as we scale from a 6 month range, at one point back in August, this was hovering at 64 cents and now at 23 cents. In terms of year to date, it's dropped close to about 30%. We know that beginning of the year towards January, back in December of last year, this was building ground consolidation at like 18 cents at the support level. The question is whether we're going to break that support at 22 cents and will we continue to see the drop in the share price, or will we start seeing the vertical catapult at this time? I believe that with any press release that comes out, right, this has the potential to run back up to the 30 to 40 cents range and then start building up on the average volume of shares traded. Now we know that the year range is $4.18 with its resistance high and 18 cents consolidation as we saw in December. Now we know that just with looking at news recently, right? Just going through the actual website at Mullen, I mean, there's lots of great news. I mean, not great news in terms of generating revenue. We know that there was no revenue generated in Q4, although there were sales contracts in place. Mullen actually partnered up with Loop Global and Menzies Aviation pilot program, where now the goal is to expand its program in the Los Angeles International Airport, the LAX Center. And this is huge for just having the new electric vehicle cargos, the vans in place at the LAX centers. So this is a great partnership. And we know that Loop Global, Menzies Aviation, there's multiple aviation sites all around the world. So that's a good thing. With iGo being introduced and arriving in the European market, specifically in Ireland, that's great news, right? And with Mullen 5, with the different product line, I mean, this is showing that there's a potential for just expanding up into the future. So there's good news here that we're seeing from based on what we see in terms of the overall business strategy. However, do we have faith in the current CEO, right? Most of us are wondering whether the CEO David here, whether we should have him be replaced or should he continue to run the business, right? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. But the fact that he's sold off 14 million shares and then later got an additional, I believe, like 22 million shares, now he owns over 100 million shares. What are your thoughts about his ethics when it comes to selling shares at the range of like 34 cents, right? This really just drives that uncertainty around where we see the future headed. If he, let's say, if he believed in the company, then he would just hold on to it, have that conviction, and just continue to build up the company's capital. Now, I wanted to share with you an article here how Mullen stock upcoming reverse split could cause a short squeeze. We know that we as investors, we may face dilution, right? If the company continues to sell off and dilute sales to really ward off the risk and reduce risk. But with the short squeeze coming, will that be driven from a reverse split? We can't really tell, right? I mean, the value of the share price will be different, of course, but in terms of the value, it remains the same with the limited amount of shares that we'll have. Now, one of the downsides that I see here, just looking at the financial results here, is just with the operating costs increasing. Back in 2021, we see it set at like 3 million here. Now it's at 21 million. Now, if we look at net loss, this is a big number, right? $740 million. Whereas in 2021, it was at 44 million, right? And this is only the liabilities part. What about the revenue? We know that revenue isn't being generated right now. So this can really impact the company. And one of the good things that's driving the assets or the investment opportunities would be just the amount of money the consumers are investing into this company. So this is really what's benefiting Mullen, right? I mean, getting the stimulus of money coming from retail investors like us, as well as institutional investors, right? Here, we know that BlackRock is an institutional investor, and according to the 13F filing that recently had done, BlackRock actually added 137,000 additional shares of Mullen in the fourth quarter. So that totals up to about 26 million shares that BlackRock owns to date, on top of other financial investors owning this company, such as Old Alliance. So that's really what's really driving the growth of the company, right? With investors' liquidity, which adds value to the overall company. However, will this mean that the current share price will go up in the coming weeks and months, right? We can't forecast that. However, from my perspective, there may be a potential CEO replacement, and with that may drive the company up. Would that mean it's going to be the CEO of General Motors or Ford, or it could be any electric vehicle company in play that could potentially buy out Mullen Automotive? And with the buyout, then there's potential that Mullen Automotive, the share price, can just go up by like 3x at a minimum, right? So that's the potential here, and this is why I remain bullish with Mullen Automotive, even though I know that there's a high degree of risk right now. But when others are fearful, I remain greedy with this, and I believe that there's potential of a buyout, and with the CEO being replaced with a bigger company that has that money to support the improvement in the operational efficiencies and to gain on the operating profit margins. So that's where we are. And let's say if you have a different perspective, I'd love to hear your questions and comments down below. What are your thoughts? Will Mullen be going through a reverse split? What will happen come March 6th when the company's share price has to get up to about $1, right? So will there be a buyout, which can really drive out and skyrocket the company's share price, or would we see some change in the organization's team structure? So let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're new to this channel, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more related content. Let's make some money on Mullen Automotive. Thanks, guys.